Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I appreciate my new subscribers. So it was reported back in November that Wendy Williams had dementia, but she doesn't. They lied. They are holding that woman hostage. And TMZ, Harvey, they did a documentary on Tubi, Surviving um, Wendy Williams, and they've been trying to get her out of this place. They won't let her out. She has to get permission to make calls. She can't have visitors. And her guardian is saying that she is not getting paid. That's a lie. You stealing that woman's money. But this woman is lucid and they holding her hostage. So let's get into it. So first they said that, and this is from November, Wendy Williams is permanently incapacitated from dementia battle, says her guardian. Wendy Williams' guardian claims that the former talk show host is in severe decline. Lied. Morrissey said Williams 60 has become cognitively impaired, permanently disabled, and incapacitated from her dementia battle. Morrissey is in a legal battle with Lifetime over the release of the documentary Where is Wendy Williams, which came out in February. The filing claimed the defendant's Lifetime partner, A&E Television Networks, Lifetime Entertainment Services, E1 Productions, Creature Films, and the Doc's executive producer, Mark Ford, cruelly took advantage of Williams' cognitive and physical decline by creating and publishing a documentary at a time when Williams was highly vulnerable and clearly incapable of consenting to be filmed. Okay, so that is, hold on. Oh, that's the Rothschilds on December 1st. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, we got to talk about them Rothschilds, right? Then another report came out about her, and this is from TMZ. Things don't sound good for Wendy Williams. Her battle with dementia has left the former talk show host permanently incapacitated, at least according to her guardian. In a new legal filing obtained by TMZ, and it ain't true unless it's on TMZ, Wendy's guardian claims she has been afflicted by early onset dementia and as a result has become cognitively impaired and permanently incapacitated. As reported, Wendy was diagnosed with aphasia and dementia back in May 2023, about 1 year after she was placed under legal guardianship overseeing her health and finances. Harvey Weinstein claims the New York prison where he's going doing time is, oh Lord, I done went to Harvey Weinstein. That's something different. I know he had a hard time in Rikers Island anyway. February 14th. This gonna be a short video. Thank God. That woman is holding her hostage and stealing her money. It ain't a doubt in my mind. Wendy Williams signs legal doc to end guardianship. And this is her being held hostage. She cannot leave without permission. And this is TMZ. Just hours after TMZ's documentary on Wendy Williams dropped on Tubi, the wheels start turning to end her guardianship. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ Wendy signed an affidavit Wednesday afternoon asking the judge to set her free. Wendy also says in the affidavit she does not have frontotemporal dementia, despite what doctors had claimed. In our Tubi documentary, TMZ presents Saving Wendy, we explain frontotemporal dementia never gets better, and anyone who watches knows Wendy is much better than she was 2 years ago. Their sources say that the attorney Wendy has hired to end the guardianship, she hired an attorney in the guardianship with Marissa. We are also told the following day her lawyer will file an emergency order to show cause. Translation, a petition to force the issue with the judge who has power to end the guardianship. If the judge turns down the request to end the guardianship, we're told Wendy will have to demand a jury trial where jurors will decide if Wendy has regained her right mind, regained her capacity to run her own life without guardian control. In TMZ's documentary, Wendy says she feels like a prisoner with no freedom to get fresh air, no internet, no incoming phone calls, no visitors, and various other restrictions. We got February 18th. All right. Wendy Williams, 60, tossed in memory unit at assisted living facility after former TV host alcohol-filled lunch as she desperately tries to end 2-year guardianship. The reason Wendy Williams was reportedly banished to a memory unit of her assisted living facility has been revealed, and RadarOnline.com has learned it allegedly has nothing to do with fears of dementia. The former talk show host has been diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, claims she is not cognitively impaired, and wants her freedom back. She's not. She's not. She is sane. Williams, 60, was reportedly moved to a memory unit amid the dementia diagnosis, but a worker in the facility claimed the reason for her move was due to a drunken lunch. According to TMZ, Williams, who was originally housed on the third floor of the building, headed to the top floor restaurant for lunch, where she allegedly indulged in a few afternoon libations. When supervisors discovered the drunk TV star, they were reportedly furious. She was served alcohol by the eatery and transferred her to the fifth floor memory unit, where she would not be able to access the elevator for another booze run. She was also reportedly told the restaurant was under construction and closed to the public. According to the facility employee, Wendy showed no signs of dementia or memory loss. Wendy doesn't have good she doesn't have good and bad days. She's the same all the time. You can tell her something today and 2 weeks later she'll remember. Her memory is fine. This is what Williams has long been saying even after she was diagnosed with dementia in 2024. Now she wants to be reevaluated by a doctor as this week as she continues to deny she has this disease. She don't. She After that I heard that Breakfast Club interview, that lady is just fine. She might have an alcohol problem, but she just fine. It said she showed, according to a facility employee, Wendy showed no signs of dementia or memory loss. Wendy doesn't have, oh, I read that. The doctor performing the exam was said to be selected by a new attorney Williams has hired to help her in the guardianship. She hired her previous court appointed attorney, Linda Relinsky, on January 29th. Insiders further claim after the new evaluation is completed, Williams' attorney plans to file an emergency order to show cause, which will force the issue with the judge to determine whether or not the 6-year guardianship should be ended. Williams previously branded her dementia diagnosis as disgusting and fake during a February 5th appearance on The Breakfast Club, and she was just fine, very coherent on that interview. Through tears, she said, I feel like I'm trapped in prison, adding, my life is fucked up. Under the terms of her conservatorship, overseen by state lawyer Sabrina Morrissey, Williams cannot receive calls, needs someone to go out and get her supplies, and spends her days in a tiny apartment with little more than a TV and a bed. She describes the situation as emotional abuse and pointed out her neighbors are mainly elderly individuals who are much more dependent on others than she is. Williams said, I'm in this place where the people are in their 90s and their 80s and their 70s. There's something wrong with these people here on this floor. She further described, I keep the door closed. I watch TV. I listen to the radio. I watch the window. I sit here and my life goes by. Oh, where's my movie? I don't lost it. Oh, that's where it. Wendy Williams spotted in Miami with her son after accusing him of mishandling her money. Apparently, her son had took like $100,000 and spent it without permission, and they have made up. And she was finally released to go and celebrate with her dad for his 94th birthday in Miami. Wendy Williams is all about family bonding and was released spotted reuniting with her son Kevin Hunter Jr. in Miami after previously claiming he mishandled her money. Footage circulating online shows Wendy enjoying life, seemingly carefree as she reunited with her son. This heartwarming moment happened after a judge granted her permission to visit her father for his birthday weekend. But before heading to the festivities, Wendy and Kevin Jr. were spotted at Matilda's Kitchen, a popular Cuban hotspot. She was all smiles as she sat there and talked to her son. Wendy can be seen laughing, eating, and fully soaking up the moment. The clip was shared by Kevin's friend Ronald, who didn't hold back in defending his friend. In an Instagram post, he said, Kevin's a good dude, the truth will come out. This reunion comes after Wendy's emotional interview on The Breakfast Club, where she revealed the challenges of her conservatorship. She expressed doubts about whether she'll be allowed to visit her father, Thomas Williams, for his 91st birthday. The judge grants her travel to permission to travel. She said, my dad is going to be 94 next month. I don't know if I'll be able to fly to Miami to say happy birthday to my dad. She also shared frustration over her limited control over her own decisions. I don't know if she's going to let me see my dad for his birthday. And do you know that her guardian sent her with a credit card with no money on there? And this woman got millions of dollars? While fans are relieved to see Wendy in good spirits, many are still concerned about her well being. Her conservatorship remains a hot topic, and her ongoing struggles with health and finances continue to make headlines. Still, her recent reunion with Kevin Jr. suggests that despite past accusations, their mother son bond remains intact. That's a shame how they doing her. That is so wrong. 310 and 312. Well, that's when Biggie mom died. Oh, I forgot to go on here and read this about. Mm, I forgot about this. I thought I had three. Oh, five. Let me just go backwards. Oh, this all about the union. Oh, this all about Department of Education, y'all. Can't make this up. I'm telling you. Oh, here we go. Wendy Williams' guardian allegedly sent her to visit her family with a empty credit card. I just said that, didn't I? She had nothing on that credit card. That is so foul. Wendy Williams was reportedly hospitalized Monday as part of an ongoing investigation into allegations of elder abuse against her guardian lawyer Sabrina Morissi. Wendy Williams she was sent to a local New York hospital after Adult Protective Services opened a case regarding her treatment. Williams was sent to Miami to visit her dad on a broke credit card, sources said. According to the inside, the card was declined on the way to the trip, resulting in someone else having to pay the bill. That is so wrong. She got millions of dollars. The guardian gave her a credit card with no funds when she went to Miami. This is considered elder abuse. Allegations against Marissa include civil rights violations against Wendy and financial mismanagement of her estate. As Williams deals with health challenges, alcohol related brain damage, and now frontier dementia, which she don't have none of that. Reports say her guardian is engaged in series of legal disputes that could be draining her funds. On Monday, the New York Police Department confirmed they responded to a welfare check concerning Williams, include leading her to transportation to a hospital for evaluation. EMS responded and transported her to an area hospital. Williams speaks openly about her dislike of her conservatorship, even calling the place where she resides a luxury prison. She currently stays in a memory care unit in a luxury Manhattan facility where monthly fees run about $13,000 a month. Williams has complained about being caged. I feel like I'm in prison. She's in there with elderly people from 70 to 90 years old. Yeah, I'd be pissed too. Oh shit. That woman is spending her money and she talking about she don't get paid. Yeah, because you stealing her money. You stealing her money. Wendy Williams guardian judge pissed off at her behavior and wants more restrictions. So they want to, because she sent that note down saying help and got reevaluated by a doctor who said she does not have dementia. The judge pissed. And the judge is Lisa Skoloff is having trouble hiding her contempt for the former talk show host. The judge referenced a prior hearing where she ordered that Wendy be moved to a new facility. Apparently, Wendy's lawyer fired back saying it would be wrong to move her to an even more restrictive facility than where she is right now, a residential facility called Courtier. The judge wrote in the email, I have always contended that Wendy will be given the independence she can handle. I question how well she has handled the independence she has been given. Multiple sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ the judge is pissed at Wendy for going to the media and and talking about her guardian, the guardianship, and the facility she's in, which she calls a luxury prison. Our sources say the judge has repeatedly warned Wendy not to speak to the media, although the judge never explained why she had a problem with her speaking out. In another very recent email, Judge Zarkovlis showed her hand pretty clearly, telling Wendy's lawyer, tell your client that if she wants a jury, she should refrain from trying to poison the jury pool. In other words, the judge is upset that Wendy is telling media she's not mentally incompetent and should not be locked in a guardianship. The judge clearly has problems with Wendy speaking out. But why you didn't put a gag on her? She got freedom of speech, the First Amendment. Although Wendy says she feels like a prisoner, despite the guardian's lawyer says she's free to come and go. Wendy says she cannot even leave the fifth floor without an attendant letting her go down the elevator, and as a result, she rarely is able to get fresh air. A current staffer at the facility confirmed to TMZ Wendy also cannot receive phone calls. She has no internet and she almost never has visitors. That is awful. Wendy aced a mental competency test Monday at Lexus Hill, where she is staying with doctors while doctors perform other tests. The judge wrote the hospital wants to discharge her. Miss Morassi, the guardian, has facilities who, despite her behavior, are willing to access her. She needs to go back to Couturier until a new facility can be found. People close to Wendy tell TMZ Wendy is bracing for even more freedom taken away. This is a pure retaliation for Wendy speaking out and trying to take up for herself. That is a shame. But that lady, you gonna pay for that, Marissa. You gonna pay for all of that. You can believe that. So they removed her. Let me see. I think we covered everything about her welfare check. And she been under this guardianship since May 2022. She always said, I am not cognitively impaired, but I feel like I am in prison. I don't think she is. She said the elevators are locked and visitors are restricted, and she is unable to come and go as she pleases. She said she cannot remember the last time she has been seen by a medical professional after her 2023 dementia diagnosis. I was in Connecticut for a year. I didn't go see anybody. I've been here for 6 or 7 months and I haven't seen anybody, any doctors. Wow. Wow. She has insisted to TMZ that she is mentally sound. That judge must be getting paid under the table by that lawyer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what's going on. All right, let's do this. I'm almost done. Thank you, God, because I'm tired. Let's see.
Definitely not the best time for people who love Wendy Williams because her guardian. Hello, YouTube family.
Oh
Let's
my
get
God.
over the hump together.
Wait a minute. Damn. Here we
Time
go.
for people who love Wendy Williams because her guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, recently revealed that Wendy is now cognitively impaired and permanently incapacitated. But what exactly does that mean for Wendy? Is it over for her? And can we really trust anything her sketchy guardian has said? Okay, I know that a lot of us were pretty hopeful with this Wendy situation, especially since Wendy was last seen in August 2024 during a shopping trip at a holistic wellness store in New Jersey. And the attendant said she appeared okay. Then in early October, she participated in a phone interview with the Daily Mail where she discussed other celebrities, including Diddy, but refrained from discussing her health issues in depth. But she did say in the phone interview about Diddy, what is really weird is that I have been told by so many people, Wendy, you called it, including some people from my family who have said the same. You know how I feel about that? It's about time. To see this video on TV of Cassie getting pummeled, it was just horrific. But now you have to think, how many more times? How many more people? How many more women? It's just so horrible. Now, after the August sighting and talking about Diddy, her fans had hoped that this was a sign that Wendy was actually getting better. Because before this, there was absolutely nothing out there about how she was doing. Well, now, news reaching everyone is that Wendy has become cognitively impaired, permanently disabled, and legally incapacitated. This information is now public, courtesy of a court filing by her guardian, Sabrina. And in the documents, the legal team described Wendy as an acclaimed entertainer who tragically suffers from an early onset dementia, leaving her cognitively impaired. So the court filing is actually part of a broader legal dispute between Sabrina Morrissey and the production of a documentary titled Where is Wendy Williams, which aired on Lifetime, offering a glimpse into Wendy's struggles with alcohol and her personal life. Remember, Sabrina sued back in February to stop the doc from coming out, but it was ultimately released on Lifetime, and it highlighted Wendy's struggles with alcohol, including a scene where she downed an entire bottle of vodka. One of her loved ones was even filmed finding a bottle of vodka amongst her things, and asked, "Did you drink this whole thing today?" And Wendy snapped back and instructed him to keep the bottle there while recovering in bed. In another scene from the documentary, Wendy got aggressive in the backseat of a car as she instructed the driver to go. Then, as she drove around her hometown of New York City, she admitted that she was unaware of her surroundings and said that the things around there didn't look familiar. One family member even theorized that she may be losing her memory, and another person said that anyone could look at her and tell it was not just drinking. There was something more going on. Well, Sabrina basically confirmed that there's so much more going on with Wendy's health. So she is now taking legal action to remove certain sensitive information, requesting that details regarding Wendy's health, family relationships, and finances be redacted to protect her privacy. She alleges that Wendy Williams was unjustly taken advantage of by the documentary, as she was clearly incapable of consenting to being filmed, much less humiliated and exploited. The filing also alleges whereas Wendy Williams was filmed without a valid contract and released without the guardian's consent. She also says in the filing, "We respectfully request that the court grant plaintiff's motion for limited redactions to protect non-public information from the guardianship proceeding that has been placed under seal by the court overseeing that process." Well, in a counterclaim for Lifetime, attorneys also hit out at Wendy's guardian for trying to stop the documentary, and they claimed she was inhibiting and interfering with the exercise of free speech rights regarding an issue of public concern by Lifetime. They claimed that Wendy's guardian wanted to stop the documentary from airing, which they said captured a raw, honest, and unfiltered window into the life of Wendy, a well-known public figure, after she was placed under guardianship. According to the claim, the documentary showed how the guardianship put in place to guard Wendy's interests instead isolated her from her family, left her largely alone and unattended in her apartment, exacerbated her self-destructive behavior and mental decline, and failed to prevent her use of alcohol. They further argued that Wendy's guardian wanted to stop the documentary's release because it made her look bad. Lifetime also alleged that Wendy's own family members also saw the documentary before it aired in early February 2024, and that they approved its content and supported its release, and they noted that several members of Wendy's family gave press interviews to promote the documentary. Note that Sabrina had also sued Entertainment One, and in their counterclaim, they said that Wendy's guardian's case against them arises from her attempt to exceed the scope of her judicial authority over Wendy, attempt to excuse her own failure to protect Wendy, and supplant Wendy's wishes with her own.
I
The
agree.
claim also accused Sabrina Morrissey of denying Wendy perhaps one of her last chances to exercise her autonomy and honestly reach her fans in exactly the frank and unfiltered manner that was the hallmark of her career, all in an effort to prioritize her own reputation and deflect scrutiny of her own inaction and indifference to Wendy's situation. Basically, they are also saying that Sabrina is only fighting for her own reputation and not for Wendy's sake. Anyway, back to Wendy's health. During this back and forth with Lifetime and Entertainment One is when Sabrina revealed that Wendy's condition is worsening and that she is now cognitively impaired and permanently incapacitated.
And that's a lie.
As how we even got to this point, y'all know that Wendy was diagnosed with alcohol-related brain damage in 2019, and she even made herself a hot topic in 2019 when she opened up about her struggles after an extended break from her talk show, and she announced on her daytime series that she'd been staying in a sober house for some time in an effort to crack down on her struggles with addiction.
You know, Kevin and I have the Hunter Foundation for the Good of the People, and we recently launched our 8885 Hunter number for those of you caught up in the struggle of addiction. Well, for some time now, and even today and beyond, I have been living in a sober house. When you see me come to work, glammed up, right after the show,
wow,
I go across the street, I do my Pilates. I told you 2 hours a day, I like to take care of my body. And you know, I've had a struggle with in my past, and I never went to a place to get the treatment. I don't know how, except God was sitting on my shoulder and I just stopped. But there are people in your family, it might be you, who've been struggling. And I wanted to know more of the story. So this is my autobiographical story, and I'm living it, and I'm telling you this.
Unfortunately, she relapsed in 2022, and Wendy checked into an undisclosed rehab facility again for treatment, and she spent 2 months in rehab being treated for severe alcoholism after having a number of public incidents involving alcohol. Apparently, she never wanted to stop drinking, and the people around her in New York allowed her to do just that. And after staying at the facility for 2 months, she said that she felt better than ever. This diagnosis followed a neurologist's assessment during her rehab in Florida, where the effects of alcohol on her brain were confirmed. Remember Remember, Wendy was also placed under guardianship in 2022 after her bank, Wells Fargo, raised concerns about undue influence and financial exploitation. Well, she did say that she did not understand why they were taking her money when she said,
My thing is that I've been asking questions about my money. And when I began asking questions about my money, suddenly Lori Schiller has got no response regarding my money. I
Wow.
want my money. This is not fair. And Wells Fargo has no questions and answers with regarding my money. This is not fair.
So up until this point, people were hopeful that Wendy would make a recovery, and there were even talks about her starting a podcast. But the next time Wendy was back in the headlines, there were reports that she spent a night out and she drank her way from Fresco by Scotto in New York City all the way to the gay bar, the Townhouse. According to Rob Shooter, who spoke to Page Six, Wendy looked lonely sitting by herself, but then lit up like a Christmas tree when she saw someone she knew. He also discussed their run-in in an episode of his podcast, saying Wendy invited everyone over to her table, saying, Wendy said, come and join me. I said, I'm with my friends. I'm not leaving them. And Wendy was like, no, everybody. We had a bite. We had some drinks. But then when we were getting ready to say goodbye, Wendy didn't really want us to leave. In addition, Wendy was also supposed to make a comeback in May 2023 at the Atlanta Women's Expo. But at the time, there were reports that she had been rushed to a hospital twice and also had to cancel the appearance. Wendy had even done a promo video, but the Expo team told Wendy's team that the video was unusable and pushed back on it, saying that Wendy seemed completely disoriented. According to a close source, the Expo team also rejected the video because they believed that a video of Wendy claiming to still be married to her ex Kevin could really upset people, especially the Women's Expo audience who were all about women's empowerment. Well, as if that wasn't enough, sometime in February 2024, her medical team released a statement on her FTD and aphasia diagnosis, saying, over the past few years, questions have been raised at times about Wendy's ability to process information, and many have speculated about Wendy's condition, particularly when she began to lose words, act erratically at times, and have difficulty understanding financial transactions. In 2023, after undergoing a battery of medical tests, Wendy was officially diagnosed with primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, FTD. Wendy is still able to do many things for herself. Most importantly, she maintains her trademark sense of humor and is receiving the care she requires to make sure she is protected and that her needs are addressed. She is appreciative of the many kind thoughts and good wishes being sent her way. Again, in the last couple of months, we actually thought that Wendy was getting better, but as her guardian revealed, her situation is actually worsening. But get this, with the latest report about her health, people are also saying that they have a lot of questions, especially considering Sabrina is the one who revealed the news. This is someone the family said kept Wendy away from them, and they didn't even know where she was being treated. They didn't know what kind of treatments were taking place, and they couldn't contact her directly. Like, they only heard from Wendy if she called. Add on to that the things we've also heard about Sabrina, and you will understand why some people are saying that they can't trust anything that comes from her mouth.
Exactly.
Honestly, I don't know whether she's being completely honest about what's really going on with Wendy or if she has anything to do with her deteriorating health. But do you also believe that there's something still being hidden about Wendy's condition? Do you think it has something to do with her guardian? And what are your general thoughts about her health getting worse? Sound off in the comments.
Listen, that lady is stealing her money. That's what's happening. That lady is stealing her money. That's what's going on. And it's a shame. And she in cahoots with that judge. Now that's what I believe. That's my assessment right there. December 15. And it's a shame, but karma is real. She gonna have to pay for that. Cause she about to lose her whole reputation and everything. Cause that doctor said after she did that, that she does not have dementia. Let me see if this is. Oh no, that's about the Antichrist. Oh no, that's about that bird. Oh,
This mom.
that's not what you call it.
Wendy Williams' guardian claimed in court today that she is permanently incapacitated because of her battle with dementia. This is so sad, but we knew that her health was on the decline, but it seems like it is worse than anyone has seen or assumed.
From all of a sudden, I got to do something about this.
Raise your hand if you couldn't even make it through the first part of Wendy Williams' documentary. It literally felt like I had no business watching this. To see someone we've seen on TV for years go through some of their lowest moments in a mind state that is not their normal mind state at all just feels.
Wendy Williams' health struggles continue to dominate headlines, leaving fans deeply worried. Once the queen of talk shows, Wendy has been quietly battling immense challenges, and the latest reports paint a grim picture. Shocking updates suggest she may never speak again, raising fears about her future. But that's just the beginning. Her
And you
guardian has
see,
now
that was
filed a
that was all lies. That was all lies. That's why I'm not playing it. All lies. She speaks just fine. They taking that woman's money. That's a shame. But they gonna pay for it. And then here go her punk husband.
Not get away with trying to pull off having two families. You dirty, low down dog. You planned dates for dinner with another woman. I have no money. And I'm going to tell you something. If it happens to me, it could happen to you. As her family, we were all sitting on the sidelines watching, and she was crying out for help. Sharina Hudson has got to be the most delusional person of 2024 because having a meltdown because Wendy Williams has named her only son as her heir is
Right.
nasty business. Sharina recently put her baby daddy, Kevin Hunter, on blast for dropping the bag and allowing Wendy to give all her money to her son. For years now, Sharina and Kevin have
She
been
got a
living
lot
the
of
bougie
nerve.
life on Wendy's dime. They probably never thought the day would come when they would have to make their own money. And these guys have done everything to make sure their cash cow, aka Wendy, keeps coughing up that dough, including dragging Wendy to court despite her literally fighting for her life. Well, it looks like the gig is up. According to reports, Wendy might have just named her son as the heir to her estate. Well, what's left of it. While Sharina and Kevin are spiraling over Wendy's money, the rest of the world is still wondering what's really going on with Wendy's health and finances. There's so much to unpack here, guys, so let's get straight into it. It's been years, and Sharina Hudson and Kevin Hunter are clearly not tired of leeching off of Wendy Williams. As crazy as it sounds, Sharina recently went off on Kevin after word started going around that Wendy was about to give all her money to her son, Kevin.
As
How
she
entitled
should.
do you have to be to get angry and throw a hissy fit over another woman's money? It turns out that the real reason why Sharina is spiraling is all those lavish gifts Kevin used to get her and the lavish lifestyle she has gotten used to. It has all dried up. When they first started sneaking around together, Kevin used to spoil Sharina with designer bags, luxury.
Wait a minute. And the fact that all that money they was getting a month, they just spent it all? That is crazy.
Williams' son just say that she was poisoned because news just broke out that Wendy is permanently disabled. They're saying she can't walk, can't talk, and they're blaming it on her dementia. I want to believe that is true, but why is her own family, her son, saying she got poisoned? And why is all of this coming out when her legal guardian was trying to block the release of that documentary they made about her? This is tea, and we're about to spill it. What's really going on with Wendy? Well, it depends on who you ask, because if you ask her guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, Wendy is in the worst situation she's ever been in, because it was Sabrina that filed the lawsuit against Lifetime trying to block the documentary from coming out. And it was Sabrina that announced to the world that Wendy's dealing with early onset dementia. That's right. Our girl went from queen of Hollywood gossip, industry secrets, and the T on daytime TV to being cognitively impaired and permanently incapacitated. And Sabrina's team is not playing about keeping certain details on the hush.
Right.
She's been asking the courts to redact anything related to Wendy's health, family, and finances. The whole thing just screamed protect her at all costs. But while Sabrina was out here keeping it classy and private, Lifetime and Wendy's family was out here doing the exact opposite. They were deep and into the Where is Wendy Williams documentary, and Sabrina wasn't having it. She's been fighting tooth and nail to stop that documentary from dropping, saying it's exploitative and not what Wendy needs right now. And even though she ultimately failed, I really think she had a point. I'm going to get to that in a second. But let's talk about Wendy's son for a minute because he's got a whole different spin on this situation. Allegedly, they're saying he's hinting on the idea that his mom might have been poisoned. By whom? Now, that's a question you all would have to ask him because you might want to know this. He really doesn't like Sabrina. The man had been talking about being a guardian for his mom and taking care of her and getting her off the henny and getting her to touch some much needed grass when her whole situation went left. Now, y'all should probably know this, but right before the Lifetime documentary aired, Wendy's medical team hit the world with news that Wendy had primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, FTD. Yeah, it's as serious as it sounds. Here's the kicker though. Her own family didn't even know about it before the announcement. Kevin was told
Right.
that she
That's
had
something that
alcohol-related.
we already heard. Now she says that Diddy poisoned her and stalked her 16-year-old son. Now this
Word on
some
the street
tea.
is Wendy Williams is starting to get healthy, and she is already singing before they try to silence her again. And of course, the first person she decided to come after is Diddy. Diddy has been getting accused of coming after Wendy for a while now, but what we didn't know was that he was also after her son, Kevin Jr., when he was just 16 years old. Wendy was the first person to expose Diddy for being DL, and ever since then, he has been out to get her. That's why Wendy Williams got fired. Yes, because she exposed pictures of him having a homosexual affair in Mexico. But she had a website way back then. I don't feel safe. Clap if you feel safe. Oh. Now, the reason why all this even got brought back up is because right after Diddy was arrested, Wendy was one of the very few people to speak on him, and she pretty much celebrated his downfall. Mind you, Wendy is currently struggling with dementia, so the fact that she was still able to remember the despicable things Diddy has done to her and her son speaks volumes. You know someone is a real demon when a dementia patient still remembers their evil deed. At the time, she put out this statement that said, "What is really weird is that I have been told by so many people, Wendy, you called it, including some people from my family who have said the same. To see this video on TV of Cassie getting pummeled, it was just horrific. But now you have to think, how many more times? How many people? How many more women? It's just so horrible." What's even more interesting about Wendy bringing up Cassie in this statement is that she actually tried to warn us about what Diddy was doing to Cassie, but no one clocked it at the time.
Africa filming Honey 3. And she allegedly has been avoiding Puffy. And, my thing about when you date a mogul is that it's really difficult to avoid them because if you use your head, you never know when they're going to pop up on the scene. Like he's mogul, like he can hire a plane right now, zoom it to South Africa, land on the roof of the hotel where she's staying. Okay, pay people off the front desk. Give me the key and let me up in her room.
Yeah.
I'm already paranoid. Of Michael Jackson's song "Lady in My Life," and wrote, "If anyone."
And she did call it on Diddy. Yes, she did. She been on him for the longest. What was that? 17. She clocked it. She did. I should not have all this stuff. Okay, here we go. I had January. Then it must be this one. Nope, that's BMO. So nope. Okay. Oh, this. Okay. Oh, shit.
Everybody, it's Harvey Levin from TMZ. I just spent an hour and a half on the phone with Wendy Williams. And I can tell you that the Wendy Williams I spoke to today is the same Wendy Williams that I knew 10 years ago. There was no difference. She was lucid, she was articulate, she was with it, and she was opinionated. I'm not going to get into the specifics because it was an off the record conversation. But she wants me to give my evaluation of what I heard. Charlemagne the God was on the phone call as well. And my impressions were precisely what Charlemagne has already said, that Wendy Williams seemed like she could have done her radio show today. There was no lapse in her judgment. There was no hesitation in what she was saying. And I'm not a doctor, but I am alarmed that Wendy Williams has had her freedom taken away from her.
Right.
And I don't understand exactly why. Um, Wendy doesn't have access to a cell phone in the sense that people cannot call her. If a call is made, it has to be from her out. She doesn't have a laptop. She can't come and go, according to her. And that makes sense because we really haven't seen her out with the exception of her son's graduation. And I have a strong opinion about what may have happened here because Wendy has struggled over the years with some substance abuse, and especially after her divorce. And it's pretty clear from the recent documentary where you see a vodka bottle next to her,
Right.
that Wendy was off the wagon. And Wendy is a substance abuser, but she was clearly clean. When I spoke with her, I know Charlemagne has talked to her numerous times, or at least several times in the past, and he had the same impression. And aside from the various pills that they are giving her there, whatever it is, she seems fine. And when the people in this guardianship she's under say that she is permanently disabled and essentially non-functional, I heard the opposite. I heard somebody who seemed with it, competent. It wasn't.
Exactly. They stealing her money. That's what's happening. They stealing her money. And it's a shame. They stealing Wendy's money. That lady is just fine. She is just fine. You shouldn't have all this information. Yeah, I don't see that up there. So maybe it's the 18. Cause I had the February. Yeah, that got to be the 18. It got to be the 18. Shoot, I got to go to bed. I got to get up. That sound like Lil Durk. Did y'all hear the call with Lil Durk and Kanye? Okay, that's the 18. Y'all think Lil Durk gonna get out?
Our next guest is one of my faves. He's out.
Dang, I'm gonna keep that. That ain't won't that was her about Ray J giving drugs to Whitney. Dang, I meant to do that when I did that video. Okay, we're not doing that one. 24th. Oh, we almost done. Yeah, we almost. We in March now, so I'm about to knock all that down. Ooh, Black Sam. We got to do Black Sam. Come on now. We want to end this. Damn, I'm just March 6th. Mm. We're going to do a Nipsey Hussle recap. And Papoose and Remy. Remy, she felt like a fool. She had an 80 and went to a 20 and he left her. And he done moved on. She should feel like a fool.
remember when Wendy Williams said that?
It takes an individual. I will plot on you. That's right. And that's why I'm going into season 11. And he's changing Pampers.
Kevin Hunter, Wendy Williams' ex-husband, has learned a tough lesson the hard way. Wendy had enough of his nonsense, and she made sure to play both him and his girlfriend, Sharina Hudson, like a pro. Now, they're reportedly down bad and begging for mercy. Word on the street is that Kevin and Sharina are broke, and it's all because of Wendy. But before anyone calls her a bitter ex, let's break it down. Kevin started seeing Sharina back in 2007 while he was still married to Wendy. Not only was he cheating, but he was also funding his side relationship with Wendy's money. Since Kevin never really had his own, he used her earnings to buy Sharina a $765 zero house just 9 miles away from the home he shared with Wendy.
And I read about it in the blogs and the tabloids.
That's awful.
That he had purchased to share with this backwoods 9 miles from my house in Livingston. And they're living the high life.
Whew, if that isn't messy. At the time, Wendy knew about Kevin's affair, but she chose to stay with him under one condition: no kids outside their marriage. I'll never understand that, but hey, to each their own. Insiders say the only reason Kevin didn't leave Wendy himself was that he and Sharina depended on her money to survive. But that arrangement didn't last long because
And
Sharina
didn't
ended up
save
pregnant,
nothing.
and they had a baby girl. That was the final straw for Wendy. If there was one thing she wouldn't tolerate, it was Kevin publicly humiliating her by having a child with another woman. She could turn a blind eye to the cheating, but she refused to play stepmother to his love child. So in April 2019, she filed for divorce. The divorce proceedings only confirmed what many people had suspected all along. Kevin was a gold digger who had been after Wendy's money from the very start. He even requested alimony and child support, which had people clowning him hard since he and Wendy's son was already an adult. It was clear he was just looking for any way to squeeze more money out of her. Of course, the court denied his child support request, but he and Wendy did reach an agreement where she would pay him alimony. The exact amount isn't public, but it must have been substantial since Kevin basically stopped working and was using it to support his new family and help Sharina.
Right, and he sure paid for that. He paid for that.
From 2008 to 2021, media personality Wendy Williams hosted a popular talk show. But ever since the show ended, Williams has been mostly out of the public eye. And the reason why she retired from broadcasting, well, it depends on who you ask. Our legal expert Danielle is here to join us and break it all down, because a lot of people have a lot of questions, namely, what is going on with Wendy Williams?
Well, right now, Wendy isn't under just one guardianship. She's under 2 guardianships.
Wow.
So someone else is making all of her decisions for her, including where she lives. And right now, she is in a lockdown memory care facility, which, according to Wendy, is a luxury prison where she can't leave, she can't have visitors, and she can't receive phone calls. So it sounds very, very restrictive.
It does. And how does something like this happen where you said not just one, but 2 guardianships? Is that what it is?
Yes. There's guardianship over the property, which is the money. And then there's also guardianship over the person, which is health and wellness decisions like placement. And it all started when Wendy's advisors at Wells Fargo were worried that she was being taken advantage of financially. So they froze the accounts, they petitioned for guardianship, and then at some point a medical assessment
I didn't know a financial institution could even do that. They probably still in her Wells Fargo's Illuminati bank. They probably they probably getting money. They probably stole her money too. And that's for real. I think I got one more and we done. What y'all think about Iman and Taylor, Tiana Taylor? I know Iman is fine. Oh my God, he's fine. He is so fine. Mm, mm, mm. And he got such a nice body. Here we go.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, you are Diddy. You are probably crying in your jail cell mat. Why?
Tisha
Because it looks
Tell.
like Charlamagne finally did a big one, and Wendy Williams is going to be released on conservatorship. But you guys, it goes a little bit deeper than that, because do you know that there is a full-blown investigation that has been unleashed on her guardian? And do you know that she's going to Lenox Hill Hospital in New York to be evaluated by an independent doctor to see not whether she has a cognitive decline, but to see whether if that cognitive decline is to the level that dictates that this woman has to be, Wendy just has to be like squirreled away and lose all agency. Now, here's the thing. They tried it, right? I don't know if you guys remember, but when the conservatorship was first happening, myself and a bunch of other people were ringing alarm because it was like, this doesn't make any sense.
Right.
However,
I agree.
The one thing that everybody remembers is after that, we saw Wendy getting drunk, walking outside like a little bodega. We saw her making a fool of herself. We saw her doing all this stuff. And I remember saying, this is the setup. The conservatorship is used.
And that was because of her being depressed about her husband. I mean, really, that's how she coped at that time. You know, that's not making an excuse for her, but that was her cope. I mean, she loved her husband. He made a fool out of her. Leaving her, having a baby, you know, that was hard. That was hard for Wendy. And I can't stand Tisha Tips. I can't stand how she talks. She's somebody who you don't want to know your business because she sure gonna tell it. She gonna tell it. She is gonna tell it.
Today on TMZ.
Okay, the co-host of Ghost Adventurers almost became a ghost himself.
Ghosting his wife. Good night, everybody.
Let's get the one to
$1 a day. It's the deal of the century.
Gene Simmons is offering the chance to be his personal assistant for the day, but it's going to cost over $12. Who is an astronaut? He's a risk.
I shouldn't watch, right?
Remember her last name? Like, she's really nice. It's time to play Stoned or 70.
Okay, I'm not gonna try to find that. Go here.
I am not incapacitated, as I've been accused. And this floor that I live on is the memory unit. The people who live there don't remember anything. Unlike me, like, why am I here? What is going on? It's a cry for help. You know what I'm saying?
Wendy Williams is detailing how she ended up in the hospital after police conducted a welfare check. The former talk show host called into the Breakfast Club on March 11th, along with Gina Monterosso, president of Connect Care Advisory Group. The two women explained they were the ones who put in the call to police in the hopes of getting Wendy removed from the living facility she's been confined to under her court-ordered guardianship.
Well, the police showed up, and I'm exhausted. You know what I'm saying? I am exhausted, and I wanted to go to the hospital to talk to the doctor. Gina, you can expound upon that a bit, please.
So we were actually trying to figure out how to kind of break through and get some kind of motion into this case, because we were pretty stuck at one point waiting for the lawyers to get through and get some type of trial. So I did two things. I wrote a letter to the Adult Protective Services explaining to them Wendy's situation. She was isolated and we needed an investigation. Yesterday morning, during our morning calls, I told Wendy we will be calling the police. And we will be speaking to police and we will be telling them that you are isolated.
Listen,
And we need some help.
so two police showed up, where I was, at the coterie, and so I was telling them, the same, and the next thing you know, there are two more police, so there are four in total, and I was talking with Gina, and saying, go ahead, Gina.
Yeah, and the police came into the room.
That don't sound like she got dementia to me.
Wendy gave me the phone, and I pleaded with the police as if Wendy was my child. Please, you need to get her off this floor.
And listen,
she is confined.
And I told them I am not incapacitated, as I've been accused. And this floor that I live on is the memory unit. The people who live there don't remember anything. Unlike me, like, why am I here? What is going on? It's a cry for help. You know what I'm saying?
Initial reports stated police got involved after Wendy dropped a note from her window that read, "Help Wendy." However, the two women explained Wendy did drop a note, but it was not what led to the authorities' involvement.
Now, Gina, let me ask you one question. There was something yesterday that said that Wendy dropped a note out the window, and that's how the police were called. Is that true? Is there any truth to that?
No.
That's so funny. What Wendy's talking to me on the phone, and she's like, "Gina, there's a photographer downstairs. What do I do?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, she's like, "Should I write them something?" And I'm like, "Yes, right now."
Let me tell you, this happened early in the morning. And it just so happens, because all I have a window, a bathroom, and a bedroom. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at the window and I see somebody say hi. So I'm like, hi back. And I get on the phone and I'm talking with Gina, and my niece. And I asked them this, that, and the third. Go ahead, Gina.
Yes, the note had nothing to do with it. Wendy and I actually called the police directly.
Okay.
And the police come over to do a welfare check.
Gina explains she pleaded with the
And
NYPD.
so the police came and she got an elder abuse thing. Let me see.
Letter from Sabrina Morrissey, who is Wendy Williams' conservator,
She wrote a letter.
guardian, from her attorneys. So there's an attorney named Andrew Selly Jr. who sent over a letter, and he outlined everything that they are alleging is inaccurate that has been in the media up until this point. They wrote this letter.
Wendy lying?
He said that there has been a lot of inaccuracies.
There are two sides to every story. Amid the ongoing legal drama surrounding Wendy Williams, we are now hearing from her court-appointed guardian, Sabrina Morrissey.
Right.
The Breakfast Club co-host Lauren LaRosa read on air a letter from Morrissey's legal team dated March 6th, contradicting some of the claims made by the former talk show host over the last few months, and as recently as March 11th, when Williams called into the show.
The court, actually, who sealed everything and told Sabrina she could not make comments on stuff, is allowing for certain things to be cleared up. And here's what they're clearing up. So when it comes to the guardianship, they say, or they allege, that Sabrina, as Wendy's guardian, did not declare Wendy Williams to be legally incapacitated because no guardian has that power. That happens by a court. And that's not just for Wendy's case. That happens in every case like this. And specifically for Wendy's case, it was put in place by the Supreme Court of New York City.
And that's why I said that judge is in cahoots. That judge getting money from Marissa.
This is quite possibly the wildest thing that I have seen in 2025. Hello, my friend, Perez Hilton here, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and more updates in the sad reality of life as Wendy Williams is currently living it. As I've shared, because her son misappropriated her money, her bank, Wells Fargo, went to court, and the judge back in 2022 put her under a guardianship.
Yeah.
She's been in
Now that's true. That part is true.
I was not expecting this. Hello, my friend, Perez Hilton here, the queen of all media, the original influencer. And even better news, asterisk, we'll get to that. Wendy was taken to the hospital where she was given a psych exam. Now, I must state, it's obvious to me that Wendy's family are working with TMZ and leaking them information. And I think that's great. Her family is trying to get her free and get her help.
Right.
Help that is working better than her current situation.
Exactly.
Remember, Wendy has been under this guardianship since 2022. The guardianship, which was triggered by her son misappropriating her funds. According to Wendy, she said that on the record. Her son stole from her. So her bank, Wells Fargo, went to a judge, and here we are. But this guardian got a declaration after failing a previous psych exam that Wendy is, quote, cognitively impaired, permanently disabled,
which is a lie.
legally incorrectly. Wendy was taken to Lenox Hill Hospital in New York City, where a psychiatrist spent time with her, and now the results of this capacity test will be forwarded to the judge in the guardianship case. However, she was not examined Monday to determine if she had been misdiagnosed previously. Now, let's be real, okay? This capacity test isn't the same as a thorough psychiatric evaluation. I'm sure that the bar is low. What's your name? Where do you live? Well, it does that full time. And when,
But she was able to answer all those questions that someone with dementia would not have been able to answer.
It was the interview that no one expected or saw coming.
Wendy Williams on the line. Good morning, Wendy.
Good morning. Shockingly.
Okay, that was the interview at the Breakfast Club. Not gonna do that.
Do you think you have dementia?
No. That's what I've been accused of, believe it or not. Frontal temporal dementia? How dare you? And I'm not saying you, because I've been accused of having that. And how do you prove it? By keeping me locked here. So that I can't see. Look, I can't go out. You have to have keys to open the door, to hit the elevator to go downstairs. Keys. I'm telling you, this is like being in prison.
Those who know Wendy personally say she sounds like the old Wendy.
I was actually her legal eagle on her radio show years and years and years ago. And she sounded like the Wendy that I know.
She sounds like my Wendy. Like I got her back.
If Wendy sounded like she had no memory, she was ill, she was on some type of drugs, or if she seemed extra lethargic, I would say that because I keep it real. Wendy sounds better than she ever has, than ever from when I first met her.
Even her own brother, Tommy, saying she sounds good. So you don't believe that she has dementia, or you believe there are further tests she's going to take to determine?
I believe further tests need to be taken because right now she's not sounding like any type of dementia. I don't see dementia. She doesn't see dementia. She sees a strong person who's just, right now she's confined.
Yep. I agree. Okay, I ain't got to do Jason Lee. And that's it. They stealing her money. And I'm going to end it right there. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. And I appreciate all my new subscribers. Y'all, I'm going to get 3 hours sleep. Pray for me. Y'all have a good one.